But I'm just expanding. I've got a robo on the way. I probably should have started out. Well, he didn't have enough gas. I didn't have enough gas to, or he doesn't have enough gas to go for DT. So I think it's okay to go for the Immortal first here. But I do want to have an Observer coming up quite soon afterwards as well. We've got the Observer, and honestly I'm pretty convinced I'm going to be safe on tech and ahead on economy, so there's no reason to take any major risks. I have control of the launch tower on the other side. And we will have to see. Now I see, has he expanded? What kind of tech are we looking at? Do I need a bunch of stalkers, or can I sit back? So he has a lot of stalkers, and he has an observer, given away by the fact he had an observer. So right now, this is probably the right time for disruptors. Because he's real heavy on stalkers, and he has a robo, so that means he's focused on ground units. That does not mean he's focused. That means he's not as focused on things like Void Rays, because obviously Disruptor is not incredibly effective against Void Rays, fun fact. But if he's focused on that ground army, getting a hold of it with a few Disruptor shots can easily be game winning. Alright. Now, if I felt like a real need, to put on pressure, or that he was going to put on pressure to me, I would go for a second robotics. But usually just one, especially before 3 bases, is fine. And it's also a lot cheaper as well. So just one robo, and work towards my 3rd base while going for blink, getting an upgrade, throwing everything else in, because you don't want to just have disruptors. You gotta have... It's pretty much like... Sure, the stalkers, the immortals, the charge lots, whatever, that's your steak right there. That's your meat. But the disruptors are your potatoes, and they go real well alongside, especially some well-done, buttered-up potatoes. Alright. I personally prefer, like, mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes that still have, like, chunks of potato. Thank you, Extremely Chilled, for chilling with us today. Glad you enjoy. But, you know, like, the potatoes that seem like they didn't come from a box of flakes, right? So, the disruptors are those nice, buttery, like, hand-mashed potatoes in your Protoss army composition. But you still gotta have a lot of steak. Otherwise, it's just a potato dinner, and you don't want just a potato dinner, alright? That's McDonald's, effectively. Is this an actual attack? Trying to take control of this watchtower here. I'm gonna have blink done in just a moment. And this would be one maybe to get a secondary robo. Get a Stargate for some revelations. I've got a couple in the way. What am I trying to say? Really turn around. He blinked away, so that means he does have that done, obviously. He has a pretty decent chunk of units, though. So I'm not in a particularly incredible position. He also has +1 done. I'm getting that Stargate to be able to get control. We'll go ahead and we'll whip out the charge as well. I'd love to have a Warp Prism, but I'm still really trying to up that Disruptor count at the moment. Until I have 5 or 6, I'm not incredibly safe.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
Thank you for that 4 months in a row. Welcome back. 204 Warpgate. Glad you still enjoy the stream, if I could ever pronounce words. Well, thank you for that. And now the reason I got a Stargate is for an Oracle and Revelation. I mean, I guess on the outside you could say Tempest or Carrier would technically counter a ground army, but I'm a long way away from that. So. We got here a single Zealot. As I'm getting up to that decent Disruptor count. I've got a Warp Prism I'm going to send along the side here. And there's his main army. Looks like we got the meat coming in over here. Does he have any Ruptors?
I see. The stars align.
I might just lose this outright. We'll see. He sees this coming out. He's doing a good job of keeping units around and in useful positions. It's getting to the point around 7 or 8 Ruptors is where it's usually better to start going for Immortals. And it looks like he got a hold of that. Going for Immortals as opposed to going for necessarily just more Disruptors over and over and over. So I'm starting to get a few here. I do have my charge done. I can get the additional ground upgrades as well. And I get a Templar Archives mixed in. Yeah, we're right around 6 in the Disruptor count. Got a bunch more gates finishing up. He's got a few Ruptors of his own. See if we can dance a little. And now this is time. You never want... Yeah, I've got a couple of Immortals here. Gonna get another War Prism. Getting more gates out. I've got more gates over here as well. This means most of his army is back here. So I can also warp it on this side. I probably should have a pylon over on this side as well. There's the meat of the army. I've got a tag on the Disruptors, which is a pretty big deal. And there's no reason to take a fight that I'm going to potentially lose, if that makes sense. No, we don't want these Disruptors out here. Oh yeah, we're going to have a pylon on this side. Gonna get some Archons mixed in to that main army as well. I don't actually have a Dark Shrine. That's something I'm missing out on here.
Let us begin.
He's done a pretty good job of just staying in a good position, but very soon I'm going to be able... Yeah, especially with a massive warp in over here. Just barely enough, but enough. As he's forced to continue to warp in over here. I'm maxed out here, so that's a key point.
Dimensional strings attuned.
Need to get a nice juicy hit on his Raptors here. My Zealots are still going to work as we work on more Disruptors. But we eventually got the hits off I needed. He's done a very good job of being like active with his scouting and stuff like that. But you get caught in the wrong engagement. Fucking pathing glitch.